I agree.
I want to hear it. I want to
We
hear it
good
when
to
the when I
go?
see a red light.
Yeah, we're
We got
rolling.
Uh,
green lights. Let's go.
all right, here we go. Hello, 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 and welcome back to Electric Lawn Talk. We're so glad that you're joining us today. We are live on Instagram, Facebook. I think Steven's got us on Twitter. Sean's got us on YouTube. Gerhardt's got us on YouTube. We're all over the place these days, but we are glad that you are with us. My name is Jake. I'm with Green Team Denver. And this evening, we have a whole host panel of hosts, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We got Steven with Ecomo, Gerhardt with Sustainable Land Solutions, Dan with Electron. We got William over there. Oh my God, I'm blanking. William, your new name
Sus,
is
baby. Sus.
Sust. We got Sandy with Electric Turf Pros and Sean over there in Maryland with Luminary Lawns. Man, that is a mouthful. Thank you guys so much for joining us. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Living the
Great.
dream.
Fantastic.
Going well.
I
How
I
are
know
you? How
How
are
are
you?
I'm
Everyone just wants
good.
to talk about how we're doing. How are you?
You
What?
know, I'm good. Over here and we're going
Are
through
you
yet
blushing?
another
I think he
snowstorm.
put you on the spot.
You look like
I
you're sleeping
am.
on a pile of grass. Is that some
Yep,
beautiful grass you're hoping to be sleeping in when it starts
that
growing?
is. That's one of our customers' lawns back there. Very
There you go.
beautiful. But
I
yeah,
thought
we're
you were
going through.
hunting back there.
I do. I'm full head to toe camo right now. That is
Love it.
true. But yeah, we got a snowstorm going throughout the country right now. I know Dan was up in Minneapolis, and Dan, you were straight up fleeing from Minneapolis before they got dumped on. Did you make it out okay?
Yeah, I made it out. So, funny story. That flight. So I was sitting there like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, man, I gotta get on a flight to Tampa. I look at the thing, one flight, and it was a connection to Salt Lake City. So I ended up going to Salt Lake City and then taking a red eye from Salt Lake to Tampa, which is always fun.
Yeah,
Dang,
talk about
I
that.
man.
don't know if you
Well,
guys.
But it was 86 degrees today, and it's
Yeah,
71 now.
ooh,
it was 10 degrees over in Minneapolis when I landed. I was like, ah, it's 10 degrees. I had to turn on the AC on the car because it was so hot. I was so hot driving down in the car, sitting there at 10 degrees. I'm like, this is weird, but
uh,
whatever.
I feel like you should live in Alaska or something, Dan. Man, it's never cold enough for you.
It felt great. I really think I could probably run around with a t-shirt. When I got off the plane, I was wearing a t-shirt, and I was like, man, this is not too bad. But once you sit out there for a couple of minutes, it starts to get really cold.
It gets you, yeah, straight to the bones. Absolutely. Well, without further ado, guys, I think we're ready to jump right in here. Um, it's already 10 p.m. over there on the East Coast for you East Coasters. So I know it's a busy time of year. If you're listening to this in a backlog sort of situation, we are sitting here at February 22nd, 2023. And so we are really kind of starting to get geared up for the coming season. Ronnie over there from Electron has been reminding us lately that we're within 30 days of go time. Like we're basically out of time to go now. And so we're really starting to get kind of amped up, and the wheels are starting to turn faster and faster. So, with that, my question for you guys, we're going to do a little roundtable, is what is one tool, either physical tool, software that you're going to be implementing, system, process, maybe for employees, this or that? What is one thing that you're doing this year that's going to make a difference in your business throughout the season? And I think William's ready for this one tonight. Why don't you start us off, William?
You give me the honors to not be able to cheat and just say what they said, right? Now I have to actually make something up. No. I'd say that the biggest thing for us, maybe it's kind of a cop out answer, but it's just keeping it simple. We last year when we got started, it was 4 or 5 different processes. Do we want to pick this software? Do we want to do that? Right? What equipment do we want to use? And about a month ago, month and a half ago, I was talking to someone. It was like, why do people buy our service? They were saying, oh, do a lot of people use you guys because you're electric and all the stuff you're doing? And I was like, well, really? It's probably four reasons. The first of which is because we pick up the phone. Second is probably the noise. The third, so they can go to the country club and talk about it. And the fourth is because it's actually green. What I mean by all of that is all the things that sometimes we think are important, which are fun to do, like equipment, like software, like testing out different tools, can very easily become a distraction. So, if nothing else, maybe everyone else has different ideas, but for this will at least be a reminder to me anytime I listen to it or look back is like, we just need to keep it simple, right? We have two knobs we can turn. It's revenue and it's expenses. So I either need to turn up the revenue or we need to find operational efficiencies in the business from an expense side to not be over leveraging or looking at the hot new thing or doing anything like that. Electric's kind of hard because there's always something new. There's always something to look at, right? We're trying to decide we were going to kick the can down the curb for aeration and overseeding to the fall, and we have customers clamoring for it, and I got to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. So we'll have problems we have to solve all the time, but I'd say in a word, let's just go back to KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid is all I need. And if I can do that and our team can remember to do that, we'll have an awesome year.
I really like that. And I totally resonate with you when you say, we can easily get distracted, right? Because I think we're kind of, at least in our group, we're kind of nerds, right?
Oh
Like when
yeah,
it comes to
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
equipment stuff,
Yeah.
and you get Dan talking about watts and all this stuff, and we just go on and on and on and nerd out, and like we drive Michael from Quiet Lawn nuts, talking about equipment and vehicles, when I think he's kind of in that same boat. Just keep it simple. So, William, how are you going to do that this season? Are you going to plaster that in big letters, like in your van or in the office, or what are you going to do to make sure you keep it simple?
I appreciate the question because I have no idea. But I did see on our Facebook, we have a local MoCo show. We're here in Montgomery County, Maryland, that one of the guys from KISS is going to be at one of the mall or something like that locally. So maybe I need to get a big like KISS poster. People always ask why
Mhm.
the heck we put it up there, and they'll give us something to talk. No, in all seriousness, you're right. We got to put that. We got to put it everywhere. We'll put it inside the
Yeah,
door. We'll put it inside each truck. Right in the stand-up meetings, we got a whiteboard in the office. There's no reason that shouldn't be the mantra for the team throughout the year, right? I should say if I'm putting keep it simple, right? Maybe that's our internal, and our
mhm.
external has to be delight the customers. We were talking about that on the side, right? That's what it's about first and foremost. So if I'm going to have two, if I'm going to put that somewhere, above it is going to be delight every customer, and then underneath that is just keeping it simple.
I really like that. Delight every customer. That is really simple and clean. A very good outward facing um, philosophy, right? I really like that.
Well, it's
Um,
verifiable outcomes. Like again,
mhm.
back to all of it. Like we get so stuck in features and I was having a lunch with a guy earlier today, and we were talking about it. We get so stuck in features and functions, and which is awesome and makes this industry so fun that when you have problems or trying to find solutions, there's so many things you can do. But we can get lost in right? We can get lost in our own weeds sometime doing that. So if
Yeah,
we remember those two things, that to me, when everyone else is answering, which I'll obviously be listening to, I think I got to order some signs. I'll get it. I'll get it set up in the office tomorrow when I get in. You just gave
beautiful,
me
beautiful.
homework, son of a b. You gave me homework. That's all right. I
You're
can handle it.
welcome.
I can handle it.
I won't give you any more. I'll
All
move
right.
on to Sandy down there in Florida. Sandy, what are you doing this season? What's the one thing, or maybe a couple of things that you're doing this season that's going to make a difference in your business?
Yeah, I'm gonna take one off of Will's book, man. I'm gonna keep it. As many of you know, I'm restarting here from scratch, and as y'all all been drilling me, weeks to hey, just start, keep it simple, don't overthink. I'm gonna kind of stick to that I think is going to help me for this season, or the one big focus. I think that you know from past experiences, I think brand is important, and though having a fancy, crazy website is important, but I think as having something where someone can go to and my Google My Business and things of that nature. So I think just kind of working on the website and building it to clients or potential clients can come, get the information that they need, and decide. So I want to make it an experience that doesn't create a lot of friction. So if they're needing to the neighborhoods that I service, it's going to make it super simple for them to be able to see that without having to be looking for it. So I think working on the website this this season is going to be a focus, and to revenue building tool, pushing clients to just build it up as much as possible, and getting that brand awareness out there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, correct me if I'm hearing you wrong, but it kind of sounds like you're laying the foundation, and just kind of in a way that's going to be frictionless for your customers. Am
Right.
I hearing you right?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Probably said a lot better than I did. But yeah, it's just setting up that foundation, and it's gonna allow me to do other things. Lead or direct sales to the website. There's so many things that you can lead back to that website to make those potential clients to see the information that's pertinent to them as far as pricing goes. So I think I'm really gonna focus around that, and kind of leading people back to it. Actually, because I'm right now I'm a one man show, so the less amount of work is data entry and collecting data points. I think it's gonna be best. So back to the side, or even to a client forum, or document, that'd be helpful.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm gonna let you off without any homework, so count yourself lucky. I am gonna move on to Gerhard up there. Gerhard, what's the one thing that you're looking at for this season to make a difference for you guys?
So I could say a tool, I could say a software, but I'm going to come out of left field because we kind
All
of
right.
discussed this beforehand, and I'm gonna reiterate what I've been talking about a lot on the group chat, and I'm really going to put a lot of focus this year on taking out turf. So, I mean, that makes a difference. It's the most. So let me back up for a second. When I say take out turf, I mean create native spaces with that. So turn those turf areas into native spaces. Now, how does that make a difference? Well, it makes a massive ecological difference because some people refer to lawns as green concrete, ecological dead zones, sterilized areas, monocultures. But we love lawns, right? No. So yeah.
Now
While
that
we
Gerhard's
do.
pissed off all of our listeners, that's
So I am the Lorax, as Jake refers to me. So yeah, I think that's the one thing that I'm really gonna lean into heavy this year is taking out less focus on lawn culture, and more focus on creating native spaces out of those areas, and not only just out of lawn areas, but making sure to focus on taking out invasive species that are already in gardens that has just been a massive thing for many years, bringing these exotic plants to our country that don't belong here at all, do nothing for our ecology, and replacing them. Deciding which is a very good replacement, and just really being a great ecological landscape company.
Wow, that's awesome. And I just want to throw out there to any of our listeners, Gerhardt is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to all things native, environmentally friendly, all that good stuff. I was joking earlier, but it's actually not a joke, because literally every day, it seems like in the chat, he's like, oh, I just came from, this meetup, with this nonprofit organization where we are planting 500 trees, and this one. Gerhard, do you want to just speak real quick about your kind of community outreach that you do? Because I think that's really underrated.
So, where do I start? So, well, yesterday, I just applied. I'm in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, and I just applied to be on the Conshohocken Environmental Advisory Council, which is there's a little bit of a process to get there after the application. But that'll be quite an honor to be on and to be a part of that, which is reflects back to one of the earlier episodes of getting more involved into the local community, as far as sharing my knowledge of not just how we can use more electric equipment and replace the gas equipment, but how we can make more beneficial effects on the landscape, the ecology around us that we deal with every day, as landscapers. Um, and I'm also involved in the neighboring town, White Marsh. Two of my clients are on the environmental advisory board. Actually, last Sunday I went to a kind of a party. There was a celebration for the passing of, it's called Chapter 55. So what it does locally in White Marsh is that it's a provision to, I guess, a different law in the state that said developers that cut down trees, they have to replace them with plants. And, previously they were like, oh, we're going to cut down a 20-inch caliper tree and we're just going to plant some daffodils. But this Chapter 55 has really worked on that to say, like, you have to do a 1-for-1 replacement. If you are taking out a tree, you have to replace it with a native tree. So there was a party in celebration of that passing, and that was with there was also the Plymouth Meeting Environmental Advisory Board representative there, White Marsh, me as hopefully future Conshohocken, and a few other shade tree commissions. And so yeah, I mean, I really try to get involved with I should say organizations like that. Another organization that I'm really like to volunteer with is it's called Colonial Canopy Trees, and they just plant tons of trees. Last year they planted over 200 natives, and they also do events where they take out invasives, at local state parks. So while a lot of people can show up and they've got loppers and pruners and handsaws, I come in hot with hedge trimmers and chainsaws, and I'm just going to town. So and another thing, with growing this company is that, like, anyone I hire, like, I fully encourage them to also get involved in this stuff too, because, like, it makes a difference. And if you get trained professionals showing up to these events, we can come in real hot and make big differences. And that's my goal. Like, that's why I formed this company.
That's
Make a
awesome.
difference
Yeah.
beyond me.
Thank you for sharing that, and that's really cool. And I think you would probably echo the sentiment that it's a win-win in the long run, because you're going to these events and you're providing that professional advice, experience, all that, and then also you're networking with people that are like-minded. So you're not only maybe gaining customers, but you're gaining contacts in the space that you want to be in. So
And knowledge. I mean,
yes.
I'm always learning and listening. If someone knows more than me, I am all ears. I'm like, tell me everything. I need to sponge right now.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I know that's something that I think probably many of us kind of have on the docket for this year as well, to, plant some natives. And I've got to talk with Lawn Pro Marketing. I was even thinking getting on our website native plants planted counter on our homepage. I think that'd be kind of a cool edition.
Oh,
But
I need
anyway,
that too.
there you go. We'll have to get on that LPM. So in the interest of time, we're going to move on to your other fellow Northeasterner over there. Sean, what are you doing this year? What's one or two things that you're doing to make a difference in your business?
I think the biggest is going to be implementing a P for P, pay for performance plan. We had it last year for the second half of the year, but I think starting off right from the beginning of the season with that in place, and I think it resets everybody's expectations at the company. Um, our employees are paid for making lawns look beautiful, but the amount that they get paid is based off of how efficiently they can do it. And so, I don't have to worry about micromanaging people that way because they're in control of their time. It really aligns them with what we're trying to do. I think there's going to be a lot more buy-in from the outset this season with the team we're bringing in, and just make sure that their objectives are aligned with the company, and and our company's objective is to make beautiful lawns for our customers. So pretty excited about how we're going to make this work. And we've got a pretty awesome team starting on here over the next month or so. So it's going to be fun.
Well, and I'm really excited for you, Sean, because I know last year you had some it was an experience, right, with all the hiring, and so I'm really excited
Yeah, man.
for you. Will you talk a little bit? I'm assuming that you either read or listened to Mike Andy's Audible book, P for P,
Yeah.
and for our listeners, that stands for Pay for Performance. Tell us about that, and then just tell us how it's different philosophically from hourly pay.
Yeah, so I mean the basic difference is the standard pay everybody's used to, either salary or hourly. You have a set amount that you make for a certain amount of time given, or you have an hourly amount, and then just you clock in, you clock out. Pay for performance, the way it differs is it's based off of a percentage of labor revenue in the company. So basically, each of the employees get paid based on how much revenue they're generating for the company by the work that they're doing. So we've got a set price on every property. They earn a certain percentage of all labor revenue that comes in. So if it's mowing, it's really simple. It's whatever we're charging the customers times their percentage, and that's what they get. But when you start doing landscaping jobs, it's just important to keep in mind that it is the labor percentage, right? So we've got our materials costs, that's separate. Take that out of what the customer's paying, and then what's left over there is essentially the labor costs, and it'd be a percentage of that. And the thing that always concerned me about it is, how do you make sure that the quality is there, right? How do you make sure the employee's not just going to sprint through the property and just cut it as fast as they can? And honestly, like, I had plenty of people that did that on hourly rate. Like, I'm literally telling them, I'm paying you by the amount of time that you're out here. Like, just take your time. And they still just want to sprint through and go home, right? Like, it doesn't matter what, like, that person is going to do that. So, this way, the thing that, if there's an issue, if they have to go back to a property, they're not making any extra money for that time. They got to get back in the car, go drive all the way back out to that property, or come from a totally different part of the route, drive all the way across town to come hit that account again, and they're not getting paid anything extra for that. So, they will either get it right off the bat or very quickly learn that it's just better to do a good job the first time, look around, make sure everything looks good before you leave, and it's going to save you time and money in the long run.
You also, just add a little bit on that. You can also, since it's like a bonus, right? You can also start removing that as they get callbacks. Like, hey, you got a callback today. You're gonna lose all your bonus for today because you got a
Yeah, I mean,
callback.
that's
You can
so we
you can
have
kind of set it up to have it where it's more, kind of self disciplines the employee where it hurts the most, which is most of the times the pocket. So if they rush through it, you can kind of have it where they go through that. They lose that bonus. They still get paid their effectively hourly rate, but then they'll lose that bonus.
Yeah, we have there's like a base dollar amount in there, so they'll never go below um, a certain amount, but the goal is for them never to hit that amount, or very rarely hit it. Um, and if they're not making more than that base, then it's not working out well for either one of us. The more money that they're earning, the more money the company's earning. But having that balance in there to make sure that they're doing it right the first time. We do have a bonus that we are putting on. If they go through a whole week without any callbacks, they get a nice bonus at the end of the week as well. So it allows us to do a couple different fun things. I think constantly learning is really important in any aspect of your life, and so we're going to have an incentive built in for them doing some type of educational piece, whether it's about management, whether it's about the green industry, a specific way to do a certain task in our field, whatever it is. If they can demonstrate that they spent a certain amount of time learning and studying about it each week, we'll have bonuses for that. Trying to incentivize people to keep getting better at their craft.
That's really awesome. And I'm currently listening to the book right now as I work on texturing the walls and ceiling in my basement. So I strongly recommend it. I just really love the philosophical change that Mike Andes proposes from going from hourly pay, trading time for money, to having control over the amount of time that you work, as well as the amount of income that you bring home. It really puts the ball in the employee's court. Now, it puts a little bit more pressure, I feel like, on us as business owners, because if we're doing the landscaping quotes, we need to make sure they're accurate. We need to make sure our percentages that they're receiving are accurate. We may need to start out at a lower rate when we first start this kind of new pay structure, especially in the spring, where maybe up here in the northern climates, the grass is growing extra thick, or we may need to raise those rates because the grass is growing extra thick and they're not able to complete as many lawns. So there's a lot of variables, but from what I understand from people who it has worked for, it's definitely a game changer as far as getting more production out of less employees.
It is
So,
it is a little bit more work on the payroll person though. Whoever's doing the payroll and all that bookkeeping.
Yeah, we've got a spreadsheet where we got to run a couple of reports and compile a few things.
So it's not as easy as
you're not just pulling the numbers straight off of whatever your CRM or however you're logging time.
Right.
But we got a little spreadsheet I made, basically it comes with a little snapshot piece that I can send to each employee so they can get a quick breakdown each week of what they're making and how that number is being calculated. And then I just take the rest of it, send it over to our bookkeepers, and they process payroll for us.
What are you using to calculate that? You built your own Excel, or are you using system?
Yeah, I built a little system in Excel. So it basically I got a top section where we do still track their hours on everything every week. Because if something came up and they were going to hit the minimum, we want to make sure they're getting paid for the number of hours that they were there properly. It also helps us just track time, making sure that we are within the ranges that we're planning to be at the outset of this thing.
So it serves like a dual purpose for you then.
Yeah. So I mean, we needed it to pay people out properly. Wanted to make sure, I've worked under systems where I wasn't sure what I was getting paid or how I was getting paid before, and it's really frustrating. So I wanted to make sure that that's super clear to the employees. And then on the back end of it, we can kind of use it to check ourselves and learn and get better at how we're doing going into future seasons with it. but it's we've got the time tracked on the top. We've got the total revenue that they earned on all of their properties that they cut that week, because I can basically run a report and have that on a separate tab that'll show them, since they're doing single routes. It'll be really easy just showing the dollars straight down that they completed. Um,
Hmm.
and then multiply that by their percentage. Then we've got a little section on the bottom for like exceptions, or like variances. Whether it's a bonus, whether they ran into a fence and they're paying for the fence, that comes out of that section on it. And then so basically we calculate their price two ways: once by their hourly at the base pay, once as the P for P plan, with all the variables in there, and whichever one is higher is what they get.
Very cool, man. And I think you kind of alluded to this, but basically with running this P4P model for paying your employees, it kind of goes hand in hand with open book management. And we won't go too much into that just for the sake of time, but basically, you're sharing, income, expenses, all that good stuff with your employees.
Yeah, man.
And, you know,
I, I
which can be a huge advantage, I think.
I think it's a scary prospect to open up your books to people, and trusting new people coming into your company. But I think it's going to help the buy-in. They're going to understand the importance of the things that we're doing. Their paycheck depends on it as much as mine does, and so we want people that want to be long term in the company, and so they should appreciate the need to make sure that we're financially stable. And I don't think that they can do that without knowing those numbers, and be able to trust us that we're giving them the right information when it comes to their revenue and things like that. I think it's only fair that we open it up and show them behind the scenes. Um, I was actually talking to William, trying to figure out the best ways to do it, and he had a pretty cool suggestion. Basically, just get a little mini projector. I can hook it up to my phone or to my laptop and just shine it on the whiteboard we're gonna have down there. Just do a monthly meeting. I can pull up a couple spreadsheets, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but puts it on a big screen for them so they can take a look, walk through it. I know not everybody's going to be into the numbers side of it, but I think it's important for them to be at least be able to have access to it and see it. And
Yeah, for sure.
hopefully it'll be better long term for the company. Getting some people to really understand the insides of the business, and grow with us.
Absolutely. And you're almost creating like a little oh, what's that called? Education for your employees on how to run a business. So that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. I'm going to go ahead and hop down to the Sunshine State again. Dan, what's going on, man? What are you and Ronnie got on the docket for changes this year?
We got quite a bit, but I think the biggest one is creating more value for our customers. Um, and one way we're going to do that is having a newer CRM to help us really create a better uh, feel for the customer. Look, have their own profiles, have their own place they can log in, see stuff, just making it easier for them to go to one spot. Like right now, we're currently using Yardbook, you don't get that where they have like a portal and they can go in there and look at it and log in and see all their bills and what they're paid for. They always have to come to us, and that just creates a little bit more value for them, and then go from there. But
Very nice.
that's really one of the biggest things we're going to be doing. It's just
S-
changing CRMs.
So is this new CRM a mystery? Is it a secret, or which one you guys
No,
switching
so
to?
so we're going to be test two of them. I know you guys know we're one of them we're testing. We just got access to it today. I know that's the Copilot, and then I think the other one I do like, since Copilot is very similar to Lawn Pro. I do want to jump on Lawn Pro software as well, and kind of get a good look at both of them and see which one makes better sense for us.
Got you. And so you got access to Copilot today. This is the first day they launched it. Is that right?
I think they've been launching it since last week, but they're only letting like 50 people a day on.
Okay.
So it's I'm not sure anybody else got access to it from us. It's from this group, but we got
I'm
access
on.
to it. So Gerhardt got access as well. So we got access to it. I kind of got on it a little bit, and then I got to log into Lawn Pro and see how that looks as well. See how big difference is it called Lawn Pro? What's it called? Lawn Care Software. Is that what it's called?
I think Steven's on it. Steven.
Lawn Pro Software.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
what do
So
you,
give
what do
us
you
a
guys
little
see as the biggest
sneak peek.
advantage?
On which one?
Copilot.
So Copilot just has the it's going to be the user interface. So when you get on their their first page, their KPI board, right? You're going to be able to see if I go on there now, you'll be able to see. Well, right now it's not ready, so it's still in their beta launching. But you'll be able to see a couple things like your service area. You're going to be able to see, okay, how many customers or how far or what radius is your customers at currently? So what is your radius? So if I look at the dashboard now, it'll tell you, oh, coming soon, whatever that means. It would tell you, okay, you have 80% of your customers are within 4 mile radius or within 10 mile radius, and then you can start building that radius. And it'll also tell you if you're booked out too far. So all these little things. What else they got on here? Time to close. So when you set an estimate, how long is it taking for you to close that estimate? So is it taking 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks? Why do you still have open estimates that were sent out 30 days ago? Why don't you have answers for that? It also has invoicing, kind of whatever you do have already in your current software, but it's going to be right up on a KPI metric where you can just look at it and see as your day moves on.
And for all our
That's what Copilot
listeners,
has.
can
I'm
you?
not sure what Lawn Pro has, if that has that, or you have to go run a report for it. So, but that's one of the cool features that Copilot has. It's going to be that it's going to be on a dashboard where you'll be able to see all that information on one screen instead of running reports.
Yeah,
So
I'm checking
can
it out right
you?
now. It looks pretty powerful on their website. Just their even things that most free CRMs don't come with. So looks pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So
you'll get like average like you'll get a bunch of things. You get efficiency, average project size, average recurring size, monthly revenues, all that. How far booked out are you? So how many weeks ahead are you booked out? Obviously, there's a lot of things still needed to get worked out, but you have how many budgeted hours you got coming up, how many hours you have for tomorrow coming up, how many budgeted, as in like if you're doing P for P, this will help out in those items where you can see, okay, I got 40 hours budgeted for one employee tomorrow. I got 80 hours budgeted for two employees tomorrow, or whatever the case is, you'll be able to see that right away on your KPI board.
And Dan, for our listeners, what does KPI stand for?
Key performance indicators.
Nice. So the important shit, basically.
It's important to depending on who you ask, right? Some people don't care to see average recurring size or their lot size every day. It might
people
just be
have
too
different
much to
KPIs in
see.
general. Yeah,
Right,
people
yeah.
So
Yep. Awesome. Gerhardt, what are you seeing that you're liking? Are you seeing anything that, or maybe something's not there that you wish still was there? What do you think?
So I haven't really done much exploring so far. One thing that I'm seeing that coming from Jobber, that I really, I mean, pay for performance is the ideal way to be running running a business. Service industry in my opinion, and to see budgeted hours right away on your CRM is big. And that Jobber really doesn't have that. And I know Jamar, who's not here with us tonight, he's found ways to really make it work in Jobber, but it's just you're really you're creating your own systems at that point in a CRM where, I mean, to see one that already has one, like, thank you. So I was trying to mess around with the lot sizes, I think it was, and I might not have figured it out yet, but I haven't figured out how to enter it in manually. The um, square footage for the turf areas and the linear footage for the hard edging and soft edging. I would love to be able to do that since
Mhm.
I just signed up for what did I just sign up for?
Near
For
map?
Site
Oh,
Recon
site recon.
using Nearmap, and which is
Okay.
amazing because I mean I've touted Nearmap in the past, and I think they're a great company,
Mhm.
especially with their mapping software. It's kind of untouchable from anything I've ever seen, and that's what they use. And you know what? You just enter in a an address, and they map it out for you based on what you want them to map out. And before you even get the measurements confirmed, you can go in and kind of like, hey, like, can you adjust this? And it's really nice, and I'd like to be able to take that and have it sync up with, because I know that they have open API,
Mm.
and I believe I could sync it up. They said I could sync it up with with a CRM. They didn't mention any specifically, but it'd be super awesome to sync up with Copilot. But I think I've heard Mike Andy say he's be able to do the same type of thing within the next year or so through AI. So we'll see how that goes. That would be amazing. Literally just instant quotes. You get customer information, enter in that address, and based on your everything, it just gives them an instant quote, and that's speed kills in this industry. So
Absolutely. And I don't know if we straight out came out and said it, but Copilot is Mike Andy's CRM that he developed. That's why it's so conducive to the P4P model as well. Steven, you've been kind of quiet over there. Are you all signed up for your Copilot subscription, or what are you thinking?
Uh, no, we're not. I'm not opposed to it. I'm sure it's something that we will look at as we get a little bit further into the season. We've been on Lawn Pro for since the jump, since the get go, 3-4 years ago. We've been happy with the systems that it has. Obviously, there are things that it lacks, but for the most part, there's nothing that's been hindering our ability to grow. And Lawn Pro just recently uh, announced some upgrades. They've got some new features in their system. They've got a lot of things that you guys are talking about with your um, days to close for estimates. There's a lot more visibility on the dashboard side as far as what your projections are looking like. These are all great features. And while I'm not opposed to the switch to Copilot, again, we will absolutely demo Copilot. I'm a big fan of Andy's and what his team is doing uh, for everybody, for the industry as a whole. I mean, he clearly has a passion for what he's doing, and it shows. And he's a very genuine guy. I spend a lot of time, kind of watching the videos that he does, and he's just a good dude. I mean, he really is incredibly smart. If you guys don't know or didn't look at kind of some of the back history on him, I mean, the kid like graduated from high school or college when he was like 16 or 17 years old and was going to go on to pursue a medical career, and had a life change where he almost got ran over by his own truck and almost died, and and all these things. And he's just a real sharp dude, and I love what he's doing for the industry. Now, with that being said, I will say that um, I hear a lot of mention of software systems, and that's what you guys are going to be using to grow your business or whatever the case may be. The reality of the situation is, if a CRM is going to help you grow your business, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Okay? And I'm going to tell you this because a CRM is going to help you manage what you have, but it is not going to bring new business in the door. Okay? I want to repeat that. A CRM is going to help you manage what you have, but it's not going to bring new business in the door. So, we've got some things that we've got cooking for we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about software. It's useful. There's the benefits, the features, all the things that you can do to help kind of squeeze as much blood out of the turnip as you possibly can at the end of the day. But we are also not ones to give away our best kept secrets, right? As a company, EcoMo, the element of surprise is the reason that we've been so successful as a company. We've got a few things that we're currently working on. We are working on implementing our chat bot for the website. So anybody that comes to our site can get the questions and answers they need. They can get pricing directly on the site. They can book services on the site. That's something that we're looking at. We've also made the investment to, and this is new for you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it on you now. We've also made the investment to build out a price estimator tool. So we are talking with a developer, and we're going to be developing a price estimation tool that's going to be implemented on our own site first, and then we'll kind of open that up for anyone and everybody that wants to use this tool.
I'll buy 20 copies.
Pardon me?
I'll buy 20 copies.
It's going to be a little while, but it's going to work because obviously we know what needs to be done with this. We know how it needs to be built. We're now in touch with the right people to build this tool for us. So we're going to use that. Lastly, the most important thing to answer the short answer to your question, Jake, what is the one thing that we're going to use this year more than ever that we haven't used to bring more business in the door, and that is the phone, the telephone. Okay? We currently have about 280 customers that we service on the regular, both on the maintenance side and the landscaping side. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend more time leveraging the existing relationships that we have. And we're going to do that by getting on the phone and having good old fashioned conversations with our clients. We've got a laundry list of services that we provide as a company. In addition to us sending out the usual email blasts and social posts and whatever the case may be, we're going to start getting on the phone. We've got some KPIs in place internally to get on the phone, start having some conversations with our clients and make them aware of these additional services that we're offering and get these people booked. Because a lot of people, and I come from a world of, cold calling. And for 20 years, I did that as a physician recruiter. I would make 75 dials a day for 20 years. So I'm pretty well versed on getting on the phone with people. And I know many people are reluctant to get on the phone, call these clients or call prospects and bring business in the door. The reality of it is cold calling works. As much as everybody thinks it's dead, it's not dead. When you can get people on the phone, you've got your reps trained internally on the right questions to ask, how to hit those pain points. These are the types of things that are going to drive new appointments for our company. They're the types of things that are going to drive additional business for our company to bring us up to that $750,000 target, which is what we are absolutely going to hit this year. And that's how we're going to do it, Jake.
That is awesome, man. That was a lot of really dense, high quality information right there, Stephen. So I'm going to try my best to break it all down. First of all, one thing I love about you is you're never happy with just the status quo. So I'm not surprised that you're building your own price estimator tool. And the only thing I can think of in that case is, and I'm going to mess up this quote, but a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
And
You got it
so,
right.
That's it.
you
That's
know,
it.
all right. So, Stephen, you really push us all in so many ways, um, and inspire us and motivate us in so many ways. And this is just another example of how you do that. So, thank you so much. And then I love the phone idea, man. I especially tapping into existing customers, because then it's not even a cold call; it's kind of a warmish call.
Yeah.
So it makes it that much easier. You can say, hey, remember me? We were back at your property in April of 2020. Actually, I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody was out in April of 2020, but
Yeah, I think all
you
you're
know.
really doing is you're kind of just extending the lines of communication, right? So when you have that constant line of communication with a client, if it's a new service line, if it's mosquito fogging, right? So we do mosquito fogging in the summertime, and we've maybe got, of the 200 or close to 300 clients that we have, about half of them sign up for our mosquito fogging service, and most of them will sign up, or respond to an email that we have, either through Constant Contact, which we send out those emails kind of on a monthly basis, right? About, okay, now fertilizing season's coming up. Who wants to sign up? And click here, da 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 da. And they do. But these communications that we've been having with our clients and prospects, for that matter, have all been somewhat indirect. And that's kind of been eating at me for a while, because I built my reputation, previously selling doctors in the past, where that was the point of separation for our company, right? So when somebody would ask me, "Hey, why should I work with your company whenever there's 50 other companies that do exactly what you do?" And my answer to them was, "Well, you get to work with me, right? I'm the reason why you want to work with us. Not, that's the difference." And we've been reluctant to do that the last couple years. We've been entirely dependent on the use of email and text messaging and all these other indirect methods to communicate with our clients and our prospects about additional services that we have. And rather than just send a email to our client that says, and a photo that says, "Hey, we were servicing your property today. This is me typing this message right now, and we noticed that you needed a shrub cleanup, and here's a picture of what it looks like. And if you want us to do the job, it's going to be whatever, $100 or $150. Instead, we are going to do that, but we're also going to be following that up with a phone call, and we're going to say, "Hey, we sent you guys a photograph. I sent you a quick email. I wanted to follow up on this. The guys were out servicing your property. Looks like you guys need a shrub cleanup. How can we get this on the schedule?" Right?
Yeah.
And that's what we have not been doing. Is we've become so impersonal with the services that we've been delivering. And I think COVID had a little bit to do with that, right? Where nobody really wanted to interact with anybody. You didn't want to talk to anybody. We created this whole system of, contactless estimates and contactless payments and all this stuff. And it's really taken the human element out of our service. And we want to put that back in, right? So that's the goal. Get on the phone, pick 10 people a day or 5 people a day. We don't have specifics yet or KPIs in place on what people are going to be gold at, what we're going to be gold at internally. But we damn sure know at minimum it's going to be 5 calls a day. You need to get 5 clients that we have on the phone a day, if nothing else, just to say thank you very much for your business. We appreciate you, right? But they don't hear that either.
Yep.
They just see a bill and they pay a bill. And we're out to change that, Jake. I could talk about it all night long. I know everybody else here deserves more time on this. I'm going to leave it at that. We're getting on the phone. We're going to start having conversations with people. That's where we're at.
We got
I
to
love
drop
that.
a 30-second shout out to our man Jamar. If he was here, he'd be saying, "People do business with people," right? And that's the truth, and we all know that. And you're making a great point of putting that back in it, because you're right. It's easy and it's a crutch to hide behind. Oh, it's easier to text them. It's easier to email them. It's also easier to hit 4 numbers into your phone, 6 numbers. They're already in there. You just have to tap it, right? It's not like you have to remember them and type it in out of your CRM. Just got to be willing to do it. So
100%.
shout out to our man Jamar. He would agree 100% in saying that people do business with people, and services based businesses, we have to not forget that.
Absolutely.
And also at the end of the day too, cadence. Sending a text once, they see it, they'll forget about it, or they'll say, okay, I'll do it maybe later. But if you do multiple touches, text, email, phone call, I think it's gonna help you turn more of those revenue to Steven's point. So I think it's all about
you're absolutely right. And the reality of it is 90% of the people are afraid to get on the phone with somebody. Let's be real. I mean, that's the world that we live in now. Nobody wants to get on the phone, and everybody hides behind their devices these days, and they hide behind their phones, and they hide behind their emails. And I'm living proof. I'm not afraid to get on the phone with anybody. So anybody that works with us is also going to have that same level of confidence to get on the phone. And that all starts with, people that are having the right people on your team as well. People that enjoy where they work. They love where they work. It's very easy for those folks to get on the phone and have conversations with people.
I love it. I love
can I
it.
just,
Absolutely.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
say
Sean.
what nobody else is really saying? Isn't Copilot and Lawn Pro, aren't they basically the same thing, but one is half price? What can somebody explain this to me? I'm still very confused.
I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference on price. I know what we pay.
So what I think it's $179 for Lawn Pro, and then $249 for Mike Andy's Copilot software. But it is a very similar software. So the backbones of Copilot is Lawn Pro.
I must be grandfathered in under the Lawn Pro old plan, because I still have just about every feature that they have, because these guys are going to you're going to get the package for the sake of this conversation, $129, and then as soon as you want to add ACH payments as an option, it's going to be an extra $10. As soon as you want to add another user, it's going to be an extra $10. As soon as you want to add text messaging capability, it's going to be another $10.
Yeah, that's what Lawn Pro, their highest tier one that includes all that, it's $179.
Yeah, so it's on up. I guess I'm grandfathered in under the older plan. Don't call Lawn Pro and tell them how much I pay.
Don't record this and put this online, right? Yeah.
Yeah, don't record it. And then Copilot is...
I'm sure we'll cut this. Don't worry about
it.
Copilot is $249. So that's the price differences.
Yeah, that's up there. And how many users do you get for
lower
the
than Jabra though?
$249. It's, I guess, one admin user.
Okay.
And then you can get your employees to log in.
Right.
Yeah, but
I don't
you
know
can have
how many
unlimited.
employees.
It's probably an unlimited number of employees. You just get the one admin user login.
Yeah, one admin user login, and then the employees get the login.
Yeah.
I think at their pro level, it's pretty competitive if you're comparing it to it's not the same price, but I think just based on the list of items that they're planning on launching, I think it's
so it's still a beta, right?
Yeah.
It's
Does that
still
include the
beta.
P4P, or do you have to pay additional for P4P?
No, that's totally different software.
Okay, but does it integrate with the Copilot?
It's going
system?
to integrate next year.
Yeah, next year.
But you have to have two softwares.
Yeah, you'd have to be on their enterprise solution to be able
So
to
P4P
connect.
integration means it connects to one another, not you get the P4P software.
Yep.
It's a big
Correct.
word, integration. I feel you. That's the same thing on
That's the-
users, Steven. You talk about like Lawn Pro, we were on it for a bit. You get like 15 users, and I don't know, like full users, and I don't know what you get on the other because there's like $15 more, right? There's definitely a seat license components that the likes of Salesforce and others definitely
Yeah,
lean
it looks
on.
like for
Yeah.
the
It's just
for the
straight
free
profit
option.
once you pull someone in. Yeah.
So Will,
Yeah, for the 50.
Will, are you? I know you mentioned to me, and we talked about it offline that you were on Lawn Pro. Are you off of Lawn Pro now and on something else?
We're still trying to figure it out. We will. It's we gotta definitely dive in a little bit more on some of the things you're doing. We will eventually be on our own. Um,
Yeah.
that should have been ready now, and for a host of different reasons, it's not. So we did have some challenges in terms of the subscription model that we're trying to do. That with some of the contracts and level billing and a few of the other pieces, we're doing the square peg round hole thing that we have to just figure out. So it wasn't necessarily one thing that turned it off. It was more death by a thousand cuts, but we're trying to find the right one that gives us that as a stopgap or as at least a short-term piece. But back to what I said at the beginning, how do I keep it simple and not affect my customers? I'm thinking kind of second order effects of I don't want to do this, make a big switch, transfer, and then whipsaw my customer 6 months later, shit, even next year to be able to do that again. So that's been a fun balancing act, but we just got to pick something and run. We've kind of already trying to decide we're just going to pick something and run for right now.
Got it.
Well, gentlemen, we are bumping up on that 1 hour mark, and I think this has been a hell of a conversation. I think there's more CRM talks in our future as we get more familiar with Copilot, Lawn Pro, all the other CRMs that are available. So, real quick, I'm just going to recap for us around the table here. We had William tonight with keeping it simple for this season and outward facing philosophy of delight every customer. Sandy down there in Florida, he's going to be laying the foundation and creating a frictionless process for his customers. Gerhardt is taking out the turf this season and in parentheses, putting in natives. Sean over there in Maryland is implementing pay for performance and creating an awesome culture for his employees. Dan is creating more value for his customers, doing that through finding the best CRM for their company and access to information for his customers. And then last but certainly not least, Stephen and his all his employees are going to be getting on the phone, touching base, and putting that human element back in lawn care over there at Ecomo. Gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight. I think we knocked it out of the park. For all our listeners out there, don't forget, check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of those social media platforms. Follow us on your favorite podcatcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the good ones. And don't forget, every Wednesday, let's see, at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and around 7:30 Mountain Time, we go live and record this very podcast that you're listening to. Until next time, remember, always be charging.
Peace.
Very good.